do believe that there is an equation to prove God's existence.
No, I didn't prove God existed. I can't prove to you that he has a rational mind. But the evidence of the way he speaks...
You can prove he has a rational mind through his body, and then from you detecting other humans and seeing that from your experience, as David Hume put it out, you could see that he does have a rational mind. He does have a brain. Most likely, if he does have a brain, then he can think for himself. He doesn't have a higher supreme being thinking for himself. His decisions rely on him.
Yeah.
Or he relies on his decisions.
Right.
It's a matter of debate.
But I've never seen his mind, I've never smelled his brain, I've never touched his brain. The reason I believe he has a brain is because of the orderly conversation and the orderly way he dresses himself. Similarly, I've never seen God, tasted God, or touched God. But the order and design of the created order drives me to realize there's got to be an intelligent mind behind it all. It's that
Okay, is that
simple.
really
This is
why
not
you
complex.
recognize he has a rational mind? Or is it because you see certain features of his body that identify him as the same species as other humans? And since you have seen pictures, I assume, of other people's brains, and you'd assume that the species is somewhat consistent, that therefore he would also have a brain. That seems like a much more rational path to the conclusion.
Go right ahead down your rational path. But remember, when you go down your rational path, your argument is, my reason really works. But if you're an atheist, what you're saying is, my reason that really works comes from the irrational and the non-rational.
Well, this is your reason. Okay.
That's pathetic.
No,
if you can really swallow that the rational comes from the non-rational, you have a blind faith that I would never accept myself.
But this is
That's gullibility.
this is your
It's
reason.
far more reasonable to believe my rational mind comes from a rational creator than it is to believe that my rational mind comes from the non-rational. And Charles Darwin himself realized that. That's why in a letter to a man named Mr. Graham, Charles Darwin writes, if I believe that my brain is simply a highly developed monkey's brain, why should I trust my brain to tell me the truth about reality? Would you trust the thoughts of a monkey? That's good, Darwin. You're struggling with the logical consequences of atheism. Evolution is an origin, not as a process, but as an origin. If there is no intelligent mind that used evolution to create us, then what you're saying is the rational comes from the non-rational. If something is here, it demands someone put it here. It's that simple.
The ball is identifiable as a man-made object. The Earth is not.
Sir, you don't get something from nothing. Never can, never will. In order to get something, you've got to have someone who gives it to you, or who creates it, who puts it there. You don't get something from nothing. That is illogical. If you can get something from nothing, you're going to make a ton of money in the next 5 years. Pull it off. Try and make something from nothing. You can't do it. And if you develop a way to do it, you'll make a truckload of cash really, really fast. So congratulations, go do it.
Okay, so you believe that there is a supreme being that never has died, has always been here from beginning to end.
That's right.
Why?
An eternal being, God, has always existed.
Okay, why, as us humans, can't understand the infinite mathematically or logically?
Our minds are limited. I cannot understand the majority of reality. I can understand a small part of reality, and that's why I study and try to learn more and more and more, because I want to expand my knowledge. I do not know God in God's entirety, but I do know that Jesus Christ was trustworthy, and that's why when Jesus says this and that about God, I trust him because he's credible, he's trustworthy. When he says that God loves me, I trust him because he's credible. He rose from the dead. If you die and rise from the dead, I'll listen very closely to everything you have to say, because the evidence is you're credible, you're trustworthy.
Research papers are credible. Why are you ignoring them? You're denying that, like, the whole entire Big Bang. You're just saying that shit comes from nowhere. That doesn't make any sense.
The Big Bang shows the universe has a beginning. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. The universe has a beginning, therefore the universe has a cause. The most reasonable answer to the question, what caused the universe, is some type of creator. That's what Einstein realized. That's why the
Einstein
Big
did
Bang
not
moved
believe in
Einstein
God. Einstein
from
did not believe in
pantheism
God. That is a
into
lie.
theism.
He was a Spinozan, right? He didn't believe in God. He believed that people around him, that there were things relative to him, but he didn't believe that there was a supreme being that brought him here. He's wrote letters about this and has been really mad at people that like you who try to claim that he is a theist.
Yeah, actually, Einstein was pantheist, which
Yes,
he did make references
he was a
to God,
pantheist, you're
but
right.
he can-
But after the Big Bang,
Pantheism-
he had to become a theist.
Like,
No.
pantheism is just
Because
like
the Big
pantheism-
Bang shows the universe is not eternal. Therefore, the universe is not God. You're right.
Pantheism-
Einstein was a pantheist. But when the Big Bang was discovered, what did he do mathematically? He put the fudge factor in to try and disprove the Big Bang. Why? Because Einstein was very honest and he knew very well if the Big Bang is true, it doesn't prove, but it points to a creator God. And he didn't want that.
How? How is it proof to a higher God?
Because everything that has a beginning has a cause. If the universe has a beginning, and if the universe is not eternal, then there has to be a cause for the beginning of the universe. Which means the most plausible answer to the question, how did the universe begin, is because of a creator God. Nobody says the Big Bang is an explanation of exactly how it all comes together. But everything that has a beginning has a cause. The universe has a beginning, therefore the universe has a cause. What's the best answer to the question, who caused the universe? Who brought something out of
Hang on, you're saying
nothing?
who? You're
God,
saying-
an eternal being, energy,
Maybe we
a
should
God who has
understand what's
power
going
and
on.
energy.
Why does that have to be a God?
What
There's
existed
several
before the Big Bang?
hypotheses.
We don't know. Why does that have to be God?
Well,
There's several
what existed before the Big
hypotheses
Bang is
of what
nothing.
caused the Big Bang.
Before the Big Bang, there's nothing.
No.
Well, what is there before the Big Bang?
What if we create our own purpose?
Yes.
So therefore, if we do create our own purpose, we decide what's best for us. Could it be that we ourselves created God?
Absolutely possible.
Yes.
Okay. Now, but if what you say is true,
Okay.
okay, and maybe it's true, maybe you're right, maybe we just create our own meaning, then if that's true, what's the difference between me raping her or me giving her dinner because she's starving? Is there any difference? If I define the purpose of my life as to copulate, what's the difference between that versus me saying the purpose of my life is to feed hungry people? Is there any difference?
Well, if you involve morals in there, there would be quite a difference.
Who defines morals from your worldview?
Humans.
Exactly, I do. So if I define it being good to rape this woman, who on earth do you think you are telling me that me and my culture are wrong?
Well,
The
you
world
wouldn't be
disagrees
following
with you
morals.
because the world doesn't get along like that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
You
I
wouldn't
see.
be following
So the
God.
only
You
reason it's
wouldn't-
wrong for me to rape her is because the world says, tut, 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 don't rape a
You
woman.
wouldn't be following the non-aggression principle.
Baloney.
You wouldn't be
My
following the
observation
non-aggression
is,
principle.
it is wrong to rape a woman. I don't care if you live in a culture that says rape is good. It's wrong to rape a woman because a woman has intrinsic, innate value, meaning, and purpose because she has been created in the image of God. I've been created in the image of God. I'm not a white shark to force copulation with a white shark. Instead, I have a conscience, a rational mind. I understand meaning and purpose that God created me for, and therefore it is absolutely evil for me to rape her, and it's absolutely good for me to feed her if she's hungry. But you, sir, if you're going to live out your moral
You're not
relativism
following the non-aggression
consistently,
principle if you take that approach.
Pardon?
You're not following the non-aggression principle. We as humans.
who
have
defines the non-aggression principle?
humans? Who do you
Fine.
think created these words?
Bravo. So a bunch of humans sign a non-aggression pact. That's great. Did the Nazis sign it?
No.
Did the white South Africans sign it?
No.
Well, you would not insist that those who did sign the non-aggression pact are more correct than those who didn't sign the pact, would you?
I would say they act more moral.
No, you can't say that.
Why
You can only
not?
say, from my perspective, from my subjective bias, that is better.
Then you're
But you're a
saying-
relativist. Remember what you said? You said morality is
I'm not a relativist. You're a relativist.
No, you're the one who's saying
that's you.
that morality is
You're the one who's
relative,
saying
that life is
everything
meaningless.
connected, and we can't separate one thing by one individual separately. Okay, that's not you. You're saying we can bring everything together and completely understand it by putting 3 big letters, G-O-D, God. That's you. That's your approach.
No.
Okay, what is
My
it?
approach is If you believe something, you better try and live it out. I believe that woman has value. Why? Because she's not pond scum evolved to a higher order. She's a human being created in the image of God for a purpose, which means there's meaning to life. And her purpose is to love and worship God and to love and serve others. I believe that I have the same purpose in life.
Who creates her purpose?
God.
Have to?
God created her for a purpose.
She does.
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
And guess what? If I create my purpose as to rape her, guess what, sir? I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. Not only am I wrong, I'm evil. Because I am disrespecting a human being created in the image of God. That's why I'm wrong. But you, sir, have no basis for saying that's wrong. Because you're a subjectivist. Remember, you're a relativist, which means morality is relative. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you a moral relativist or not?
Okay, you're a subjectivist. Because
No, I'm not.
No, you're saying that it's if this is my perspective, then you must have a perspective. Then, if we have existing perspectives, then we can't prove ourselves wrong. You're not saying that you have the ultimate perspective.
That's not what I said. You're not listening to me, sir. Please respect me enough to listen to me. I said, if you believe that there is no God, and if you believe that morality is relative, then there cannot be an objective moral. Rape is wrong. Rape is right. Instead, it's all subjective. It's all independent, defining it, right? Are we tracking now?
Okay. Okay, I get what you mean.
I'm a theist. I'm saying there is a God separate from her, separate from me, who created her with dignity, and if I am so disrespectful of her as to rape her, that is evil.
Okay, so God imposes these morals. Why is it that so many people, up to 1 billion people, die every day? If he's so moral, why does
Good question.
Yes. Why is there so many things happening in this world that we wouldn't favor, but yet God favors?
You bet. The reason that there's so much evil in this world is because although I have a conscience that tells me to rape is wrong, I also have free will.
Oh.
And because I have free will, I can violate my conscience. Now, guys, what happens to us when we violate our conscience? We experience something called guilt. Thank you. Every one of us, every atheist, every agnostic, every theist experiences guilt. Why? Because we know something is wrong, but in spite of the fact that we know it's wrong, we have a free will and we go out and do it. Then we experience guilt. And I have a wonderful friend who works for Goldman Sachs now, who went to Harvard. And as a freshman at Harvard, he wanted to screw around, he wanted to cheat, but he had a problem. He had this guilt because he believed there was a God, and he had this guilt. So he became an atheist. Why did he become an atheist? Because if you're an atheist, you realize it doesn't matter what I do. I can do anything because I define what's right and what's wrong. So if I want to screw around, if I want to cheat on an exam, if I want to cheat the IRS, there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't have to experience any guilt because it's all relative.